Hey guys, welcome back to Advanced Bass Fishing, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel today. Guys, we're going to be talking about 101 old school basic bass fishing tips today with a Texas rig plastic worm. This is probably the most, bass catching lure in the history of bass fishing. Texas rig's been around forever, and I've got a few things I do with it. As far as I'm gonna give you guys sort of a good tutorial just on some general good plastic worm fishing tips as far as the Texas rig goes, because like anything else, I picked up some stuff that works for me throughout the course of my career fishing, and I'll pass it along to you guys in today's episode here. And also, guys, I'll be putting everything I'm talking about today, I'm going to put it in my tackle warehouse link in the description of this video. The hook I use, the sinkers, the worms, the line, rod, all that type of stuff. If you guys would like to get set up, with your Texas rig fishing, you can get everything through my tackle warehouse link. That's a great way to support the channel. And also, guys, two quick things before we get started. Just wanted to keep reminding you guys, Solar Bat has got, for at the end of July, the sale's up. They've got our country's 250th anniversary sale going on to the end of July. 50% off, guys, half price on my signature series RB2s and 3s. Use the promo code RandyB for free shipping and handling. But 3 different frame styles, guys, a bunch of different lens colors. You guys will love them. Try to take advantage of that sale. And also, guys, real quick, anybody interested in booking a private one-on-one on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat, shoot me a private message, and I'll get you set up with the details, so appreciate that. Okay, guys, the Texas rig is something that everybody needs to know how to fish. It works everywhere. It catches bass on any lake across the country, catches bass in dirty water, clear water, warm water, cold water, everywhere. It works everywhere. So there's a few things that I have learned about it and Texas rig fishing that I want to pass on to you guys in today's video. First of all, let's talk about the equipment that you want to throw it on. I throw my Texas rigs based upon what I'm doing with them on 2 different rods. If I'm pitching it and flipping it, I throw it on a flipping stick. If I don't, I throw it on a 7.2 medium heavy. The one that I like is the Megabass Levante series. I'll put this in my tackle warehouse link, guys. It's a really awesome rod for under $200. I got the Cast King MGTI Elite Bait Cast Reel. I'll have this linked in the description. Nearly impossible to backlash, built for stout, guys, 11 ball bearings. This is my setup. And I use Seaguar and Vizex fluorocarbon line 100% of the time with it on my worm fishing. And the test on it depends on where I'm fishing. If I'm fishing, like, say I'm casting into an open water grass bed, I may use 15-pound test in Vizex. If I'm pitching and flipping, maybe 20, 25-pound test. But normally about 15-pound test is the lightest I use, and that's when I'm casting a plastic worm into more open water situations. Okay, the worm that I use, the setup on it, we've talked about this before, is your Texas rig, and I use sinkers, anywhere between 1/8 ounce to 1 ounce on them, just depending upon it. Again, I'll put all these links in my tackle warehouse link in the description. And I use a straight shank Gamakatsu G Finesse worm hook. A lot of people like an EWG. EWG works, but it's very user friendly, but you'll get better hookups with a straight shank worm on there. So that's my setup with it. And also remember, guys, there's 2 quick things to remember. When you rig your Texas rig, guys, make sure that you come down far enough to bury the hook eye and the line. You want to make it where there's nothing but a straight piece of line coming out. That ensures that your sinker sets straight. If you don't rig it down there far enough, you'll have lines sticking out from your tag end, and your sinker will sit cockeyed. And then also, guys, make sure that when you hook your hook in the worm, that you put it in the side of the worm like that, because it breaks free a lot easier. Don't put it like just right back in the middle of the worm like that, because it makes the worm too weedless. So that's just a little bit of rigging tips that we have with it. Okay, now how I work and set the hook on a Texas rig is another thing that you have to really familiarize yourself. Let me show you a little bit about how I work a plastic worm, which is completely different than like pitching and flipping a jig or whatever. Usually what I'll do, there's 2 different ways that I work it. If I'm casting a worm, I'll make my cast out there, I'll let it hit the bottom, and then I'll shake it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that, and bring it down, and then I'll pull it a little bit like that. So I'll shake it and I'll pull it up as I'm dragging the worm. I'm pulling the worm as I shake it like that, and then I just drag it like that. let it set back down. So I'm not hopping it off the bottom like a jig or anything like that. I'm just shaking it along the bottom, you know, and I'm not reeling it when I'm shaking it. I'm just pulling it. Like, see my hand stationary, but I'm taking up slack in the line, and I'm pulling it maybe a foot, let it stop, and then drag it. And that, guys, I've caught more fish with that drag and shaking technique when I'm casting a worm than any other. Now, if I'm flipping or pitching a worm, guys, I'll pitch it in there like that, let it hit the bottom, and as soon as it's in there, guys, I'm just gonna shake it in one spot. And I may pull it up a little bit and let it fall down, shake it like that. Depends if I'm over an object or not. If I'm over a limb or in a bush or something like that, I'm usually shaking it in one spot. If I pitch up underneath the boat dock like that, I'm shaking it and pulling it just like I normally do. But the main thing is you just have to keep it close to the bottom. As long as you're working that worm slow and you're dragging it on the bottom, you could catch a fish just dragging it. But I do like to shake it a little bit to give it some work, or give it a little bit more action. Now, a worm, when you set the hook on a worm, if you have the hook in your worm set correctly, like skin hook, you don't have to set the hook that hard. One of the things that I learned about worm fishing years ago, I was watching Gary Yamamoto, who invented the Senko. And Gary, that's all he did is fish Texas rigs. I mean, that's all the dude did. And here's what Gary looked like, because I watched him at tournaments all the time. He'd sit there and, you know, he'd throw a Senko out or something like that, and he'd be working it like that, and all of a sudden he'd just start reeling like that, and he'd have a fish on. He never set the hook on it. And I got noticing on my Texas rig, the harder that I set the hook with my Texas rig, the more bass that I lost, especially on a slack line. You don't ever want to set the hook on a Texas rig with a slack line, and you don't ever want to set the hook too hard, because when you do that, a lot of times you can blow their mouth open, or you tear part of the soft part of the mouth if it's up in the upper roof. So the correct way to do it is to throw your worm out there. You know, you're feeling it and you go, okay, there's a bite. You know, once you know there's a bite, like you can see your line swimming off or you feel a strike, don't get in a big hurry. The fish aren't gonna spit it out. If it's a fish over about a pound or two, they're probably gonna swallow the thing. You're not even gonna be able to shake it off. So what you wanna do is, when you feel your bite, you can even say to your buddy, say, there's a bite. Watch the direction the line's coming in, tighten up, reel down to it until your line's tight, and then just pull back and start reeling like that and keep reeling. You don't have to jerk it hard like that on a hook set. Just pull it back and start reeling if you've got your hook set up correctly, where it's just skin hook like that. And when you skin hook that worm like that, you're not going to lose. You're not going to get hung up. I mean, it's completely weedless like that. So anyway, guys, that's a few basic things. And guys, one other thing that you don't definitely remember, guys, always use scent on your worms here. You guys have been hearing me talking about this Baitpop. This Baitpop is freaking awesome. It's got real fish, real amino acids in it. Stays on your worm a long time. Always put some on my plastic worm, just rub it in like that. And the reason you want to use it is when this worm's on the bottom like that, I've talked about, when that fish comes down and noses on that worm, you know, if it smells like something like the Baitpop has in it with fish and amino acids versus just a chunk of plastic, you got 100 times better chance of getting a bite on it. So I'll have this Baitpop link in the description of the video too. It comes in a bunch of different colors and flavors. So, you know, guys, hope it helps you catch some good ones. We'll talk later.